But what's interesting is that, so my Nana, who we call Nana, right? My mother's mother. Okay. So she was from Barbados. Her father, though, was 100% Blackfoot.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
And the story goes, right, is that...
Hold on. Before she go, did you hear what she said?
Yes.
Her father was 100% Blackfoot.
Okay.
I don't know how the fuck she got 100% father that's Blackfoot. This girl right here named Dots. You see how black she is?
I mean, yeah.
But how did a Blackfoot Indian get to Barbados? They never left. They never left Canada and that border up there, in the U.S. border.
She just told you, because there was the slave trade where they was shipping them down to Barbados.
How the motherfucker get from the Central
I don't know.
America? Do you not know how long a travel that is? That's like going from Ohio to California and driving. That's days. And you talking about on foot?
Like a clown. Where's the Mardi Gras?
Hell no. That's further than the interior. Just to get to where you can get on some water and then roll your boat down the goddamn stream. That's why I hate lying ass females. And y'all call us liars. Call us cheats and liars, and then you get these hoes on the panel and they get to saying shit like this.
You know, he came from the Americas, so still I'm not sure whether or not he was banished to Barbados, you know, sent to Barbados, right? Because he was deemed a problem. I don't know if it's because of necessarily him, like what you would call being a merchant seaman of today. But my Nana, my mother's mother, was always very clear on her father's people, which would be my great-grandfather. No, my great-great-grandfather, my grandmother's father.
How black people sound trying to explain how they're full-blooded Native Americans and not Africans at all.
Roydale and Alberstein's grandmother and my grandmother, okay, they were sisters. So that make me and Roydale and Alberstein, okay, that's going for a second. That same grandmother. They my first cousins. Okay, their children would be my second. Their children to you all, my children, that would make you all maybe third.
But yeah, he was 100% Blackfoot, and he was from the United States. And Barbados always had a very special relationship with the United States of America. And what's interesting is Barbados was one of the islands, it's very small, but it was one of the islands out of all of the Caribbean islands that was last to be colonized, right? So from the time that this alleged, you know, Columbus dude, right, Christopher Columbus, that person, came over to what they said is Hispaniola, which is DR in Haiti in the 1400s. But from that time to the 1600s, that's over 100 plus years, you know, there were many attempts, right, of them trying to invade the island, so to speak. But them Indians, them men and women were getting busy. They could not penetrate the island of Barbados. They wasn't happening. Them Caribs was not playing. You heard me? So Barbados has always had a special soul and rhythm and a connection back and forth to the United States. But not only that, I don't know how many people are aware of this, but even the alleged first president of the United States, right, or George Washington. So his half brother, he actually, George Washington actually lived in Barbados,
Facts.
And visited Barbados many times a year, right?
A lot of them came from Barbados, right?
Yeah, a lot of them came from Barbados. So, you know, it's just very interesting. I'm really into it because, again, I'm very clear necessarily on like my genealogy. And my nana always talked about her father, right? Being a really good horseman, right? Like,
Right.
and I don't know if that's where I get my love of horse riding from, you know, because your girl can ride a horse now. But they will tell you that the Black people that's in Barbados comes from Africa, right? Like that island wasn't
Yeah,
inhabited
that's the narrative. That's the narrative.
slave trade and all that other BS. Absolutely
Right.
not. And the one thing my
Right.
nana always told me, and y'all probably have heard me say this before because I've said this on this show a few times. When I went away to college, my grandmother said to me two things. She said, do not come back home telling me you African and telling me that you came from monkeys and apes. That was
Bullshit.
her two things when she said we
Bullshit.
back to school.
Bullshit. Why would your nana say that? Why would she say that to you? Lady, you gotta be in your 30s. How the fuck is your grandma gonna say, don't come back telling me that you African and that you come from monkeys? Who the fuck teaches that you come from monkeys? Why the fuck would she tell you that? Why she lying on her fucking grandma? I'm talking about with a straight face. You can hear the bullshit. This your type of friend right here, what I'm trying to say.
Now that sounds like it's your people in here. I don't know what the fuck.
No. Your people. A lot of your people. You like friends like this.
Right? Because I was going to a predominantly white university, upstate New York. She was like, the only thing I have to say to you is do not come back home telling me that you African and that you come from monkeys and apes. Hand to God.
Let me ask you this: Did that school teach you that?
She was blue black, OTK. She was dark.
No, I'm asking you, Dots. Did that university? Did they teach you that?
About what? Me being an
that
African?
You was black,
yes.
that you was African, and that
Of
did
course.
they teach you that?
Oh, big time. And not only, and in order to pass the class, you needed to have made sure that you memorized and split out that information. I always tell the story. When I was in my anthropology 101 college class,
hold on.
We had to do out basically a paper on.
I said it, and I don't take it back. Anybody that's being anti-African, I have no respect for you. So yeah, I said to your face, your mama face, your dude face, your granddaddy face, and your other mama. I tell you, you're a bold-faced lie. This girl said that what did you say it again?
You memorize and split out that information. I always tell the story.
Fucking lying bitch.
Teach you that?
Oh, big time. And not only, and in order to pass the class, you needed to have made sure that you memorize and split out that information. I always tell the
No, that's not how you get grades in college. Yo, Honey Clark, you went to school? You went to college? You went to a small. Okay. Did you have to memorize some? Okay. Did you have to do that in order to pass your class? You want to hear
memorization?
No. Listen.
No, it's usually application.
Exactly.
Yeah, what she said was, I don't know. That was my grade school response. You usually memorize there.
Tika said, "Hell no." Everybody know. Listen.
Let me ask you this: Did that school teach you that?
She was blue black, OTK. She was dark.
No, I'm asking you, Dots. Did that university? Did they teach you that?
About what? Me being an African?
You was black, yes. that you was African, and that did they teach you that?
Oh, big time. And Not only, and in order to pass the class, you needed to have made sure that you memorized and put out that information.
What university has you memorize something and put the information out? That you that?
Not even that. Why would they wouldn't tell you that you're that? They would say that this happened. They wouldn't say, you are a product of XYZ. They would say a slave trade happened and this is what happened. If you're looking at that history.
No one on the
And this
panel
is
was saying
evolution.
anything.
This is
I'm
theory
thinking
of evolution. You wouldn't.
I don't think they
That's a
went to
weird
school.
claim.
Exactly. It's a bold-faced claim that a university will force you to claim that you're African and that you came from monkeys. Not a single fucking university teaches that. They're evidence-driven. They're going to give you the evidence. And what if her major was in fucking PE?
I was just thinking, like, what classes were you taking to say this? Like, if you're taking an African American history or something, I guess, like, what classes are you taking where that's something that we're saying?
Exactly.
That doesn't even make sense. They're not going to teach that in college.
The damn syllabus gonna tell you what they doing. Hell yeah, we know she lying. Lucky.
Lucky.
She said anthropology class. Nah, bro.
Please.
Nah, this bitch ain't don't know nothing about no.
Why would she ever take a class on that? That's not horrible.
All right, here you go.
I always tell the story when I was in my Anthropology 101 college class.
There we go. Anthropology 101. And where my anthropology book? Where my anthropology book at? I got my anthropology book right here. No capulocious. No capping. Anthropology book right here. Keep it beside me at all times. In this book, it don't teach you that you come from Africa. It teach you that life started in Africa. It don't tell you that you come from monkeys.
Understand.
It don't teach you that you come from monkeys. It tells you that we have a common ancestor. It never said neither one of the two things that she claimed in her little statement right there. She's a fucking bald-faced lying heifer. I had no respect for her. None. For the mere fact that she tried to shit on Africa like that. That's why I called her out her name. And I don't take it back, and I ain't apologizing. And don't tell me nothing about you can't talk to black women like that. She don't want to be black. How about that?
I'm just trying to understand why she would ever take an Anthropology 101 class. Why would you, if you went to college, why would you ever take that? You're not going to go in that field and you don't agree with any of it.
Correct.
That makes no sense. Like, if she ever took the class, she wouldn't say half the stuff she was saying.
Exactly. If she took the goddamn class, she would have been smart enough to know, like, no, OTK, that historically, that's what make me think she didn't take no anthropology class. Are we not listening to what she's telling us? That her grandfather was a Blackfoot and they exiled him is how he ended up in Barbados? How the fuck did he come from? How did somebody exile him from Montana or Canada? He just could have went to Canada. Because they're right there on the border. No one's fucking with the Blackfoot. And he don't look nothing like you. 18,000 years of evidence exist about the Blackfoot, and not one black motherfucking person is a Blackfoot. Let's hear the rest of this bullshit.
Had a paper. We had to do basically a paper on our genealogy, our family.
Hold on, real quick. College curriculum. All right, so she had to be doing a history. She had to be taking history because history is the only thing that's going to ask you to write papers on your genealogy, conduct studies and research on that. That's the only course that's asking you to do any type of research on your own historical context, enhance critical thinking, explore personal identity, improve writing and communication skills. That's the damn curriculum. That's the benefits of genealogy papers in college. And that's if she took a history class.
Family tree. So your girl goes home, right? Oh, for a weekend or whatever. I speak to my nana, of course, right? And she begins to talk about our family tree, like where we come from. Never mention Africa. So I write my paper, I type up my paper, I submit it, and I got a C+ on the paper.
Where the paper at? Show us the C+. I don't believe shit you saying. Where the paper at? You got a C+ because your ass was on there trying to claim that goddamn you ain't black African. And your teacher looking at you like, according to your genealogical research, you definitely black and African.
And the professor wrote, this paper would have been an A, but you got a C+ because you're black and you didn't put that you come from Africa. Because obviously.
Whoa. That's a lawsuit.
Wait, what?
That's a lawsuit.
What? Ain't nobody ever said that.
That's a lawsuit.
At universities, it's people from everywhere. They can't just look at you and tell you what you are.
That's a lawsuit.
That makes no sense.
That's a lawsuit. They didn't put that on that paper. That teacher could lose their teaching license. The university could be sued behind that. Yo, you're not finna convince me of that, yo. Bro. Nah, ain't no fucking way, bro. I ain't never got a paper in college from a teacher that broke down the explanation on paper and told me why I got a C+. You would have got an A if you would have said you was from Africa. The fuck? How? This motherfucker barely don't even know you. He got 2,000 goddamn students a semester. He just running them bitches back to back, 6 hours a day, 50 to 100, maybe 200, depending on the bullshit registered class. This ain't a small class. Ain't nobody going in there talking about, yeah, your black ass is African, you get a C. She said it. What do you mean play the video?
Because you're black and you didn't put that you come from Africa. Because obviously I'm black in the United States. So by default, why didn't I write about being of African descent? But yet, so what does that tell a student that's in college, right? That says to you, you better parrot this information. And if you want to pass this class, right. And if you want to pass this class, then you better write, what we agree for you to.
Bullshit. Because everybody in that class ain't of the black person in America. So how the fuck could they determine what yours was? Because you could be from Australia. You have no ethnic ties to black people in America. They don't know that. So how the fuck are you lying on the professor, the field of anthropology, and the whole likes? No, you got a C+ because your dumb ass didn't study. Oh, you meant to say that ain't no way, bro, short?
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no 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 fucking way, boy. Ain't no way, boy.
Ain't no fucking way, bro. But listen to her. Listen to her lie.
Right. Not what the truth is, not what your grandmother said, who's the primary source.
Boom! Not what your grandmother said. Your grandmother's the primary source? How, Sway? How? This heifer thought that this heifer couldn't even read or write. How the fuck is your grandmother the authority on any goddamn thing? Our grandparents struggled back then. They had too many hats to wear. They were being the mama, the wife, the auntie, the cousin, the sister. They were working all goddamn day. There's no fucking way you finna tell me this, Dots. A professor would tell you that? There's no way that professor would lose their job. You would have got paid from the university. You lying sack of shit.
To your family tree. She's the living, primary source to your family tree. No. Screw what she said. The book said this, and you were supposed to write that. So that's
not how it goes. You just told us that you were doing a research project on your family tree. How could a professor grade you on your family tree if that's the research project? Listen, Dot. When you're doing research, as an example, you need to learn to locate, analyze, interpret sources like the census records, vital records, historical documents, and online databases. Researching your family history, you can gain a deeper understanding of historical periods, events, social conditions that affected your ancestors. And here comes the critical thinking. Evaluate the reliability and the validity of the sources and draw conclusions based on the evidence. So if you wrote a whole entire paper about what your grandmother said to a fucking professor, goddamn, you did a piss poor job. You should have got a fucking F. Because where was your evidence to support your grandmother? If she's supposed to be your primary source, where's your fucking evidence to back her up? Do you have genetic evidence? Did you actually get some records from genealogical records? No, because you're claiming this heifer's in Barbados. And the fucked up part about all of this is that Siobhan, one of her best friends, her name is Tracy. Not to put a business out here, but I don't give a fuck. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. She is an illegal immigrant because she ain't got her papers. She been here for like ever. She didn't graduated high school. She didn't went, she enough for college. She didn't have kids. She didn't, she done been married. She didn't goddamn get all. She been here about 30 something years. She's from Barbados. From Barbados. She ain't never told me no shit about she ain't being African. Or that's what the fuck they learning down there. Ever. Ever. Black as hell. Like you said, your granny blue black. Yeah, she a chocolate ass chick too. And I know other people from Barbados as well. They ain't never denied no African ancestry.
Apart from being the native home of Rihanna, Barbados is home to about 283,000 other people like me, and the majority of us are descended from Africans and more specifically West Africans, and many say we have the closest ties to Ghana. In the majority, those West Africans were forcibly brought here over 2 centuries during the European-led Atlantic slave trade.
We just read that the population of Barbados today, 92 are them black people that are African, 92 to 94% African genetically. And you sitting over here and finna tell me your grandmother told you that you ain't African? And you turned in a paper to your teacher in anthropology 101 where it requires you to have evidence to back up your claim? And you didn't have no goddamn evidence. You had my grandmama said I'm this, I'm that, I ain't black, I ain't African. Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.